Alright, today I'll be showcasing Galactic Originals to Alpha 5. It's not a very big alpha that I thought it was going to be, but it's pretty massive. In terms of like new game modes and whatnot, and stuff that was removed and stuff that wasn't. Let me see. There we go. There it is. We might have an issue. Think I got it right? Yeah. Yeah, there was some issues that we were running into with Alpha 5. Like screen tearing is one of them. And I do think if you turn that off and turn it to low. No, it wasn't low, it was medium, I think. Or was it high? I don't know what it was, but one of them, I think it's with this. Is it with, I don't know. But usually if you had that, if you had it off, if you had VSync off, then the game would run absolutely garbage. Like, it wouldn't run good at all. There's the new patch notes tab, which I don't know why it wasn't added in earlier alphas, but the other 4 alphas, I should say. But yeah, you can see all this stuff in here. A very basic, excuse me, a very basic patch notes window, or tab, or whatever you want to call it. There really doesn't need to be that much stuff, considering it's just looking at the patch notes. And yeah, you can see that the story mode was added, the GO2 playground, settings menu, patch notes menu, map selection, which is actually wrong. We actually figured that out not that long ago. The map selection was actually like mis-added in the patch notes. I guess that's how you could word it, because the map selection was actually added in Alpha 4, not Alpha 5. But the main menu, hold on, I want to make sure real quick that I can only, yeah, I think I damn, I think I'm good. Yeah. The new main menu environment and the background music, added both of a flashlight and an axe, but it's only in story mode. Removed off-road game mode in Alpha 4 main menu look. The reason why off-road game mode was sort of removed is because there was really no reason to have it, you know, in Alpha 5. We were moving on to, well, yeah, we're moving on to more, like, bigger alphas with a whole bunch of stuff in it, and some things will also be updated, like, you know, earlier game modes would be updated and everything. That's how we initially planned it, but now that we were looking at it during the development of Alpha 5, that the off-road game mode, like, was unfinished, which there is going to be unfinished stuff in the alphas. That's kind of the whole point of having an alpha or a beta. But the off-road game mode was so bad. Like, we were trying to implement the vehicle into the level and everything, and make it sort of its own game mode. Jesus, that scared the hell out of me. Sort of have it its own game mode. There were plans to have, it was codenamed Friends Mod, which pretty sure you could guess what that meant, like multiplayer and whatnot. We had plans for multiplayer, but it just didn't work out. Like, we had an entire system set up, and it just didn't work. Another thing too is that if we do have a future multiplayer implemented, then it will probably only be for like a certain server that you have to be setting up. It won't be running off of one server. I also think that's sort of it's a little bit annoying if you want to just play the game with friends, but also it just gives you more control over your game, or your session, as we call it. And if we go into here, obviously, still the same map selection. With Playgrounds 3, there's not really that much stuff that was added. There's only one vehicle. Whole bunch of stuff was added over here. The reason why it's so dark is because of the light is kind of like being blocked by the plane and everything. Game version 5.February 14th, 2026.26. Alpha 0.0.0.5, or Alpha 5. Basically, almost every single Playgrounds will have a whole bunch of stuff. Also, this is not a prototype level of Playgrounds 3. This is the official one. There really wasn't much to add to Playgrounds 3. That's why we didn't hype it up or anything. It was sort of just something to add to the game. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the Playgrounds maps. Or the Playgrounds 3. The only thing you can really see, like, it's not anything different from the terrain generation terrain generation, but it's not as different as the terrain from Alpha 4, but it's still kind of here. And you can also see that the map was extended a little bit. If you really paid attention, it was just extended, because if you go Playgrounds 2, yeah, you can see it's been extended and everything. And then we also got the story mode, which is pretty much the main reason why Alpha 5 was created in the first place. I can see some weird stuff going on. I don't know why, but it's kind of weird. And these planks will be fixed. They're just temporary as of right now. Like, they're not meant to be there and everything, so they'll be fixed probably in the next alpha. Jeez, we need to work on that radius, because that actually was kind of bad. I don't remember if it goes off a radius. I should remember, because I'm the one who coded that, but whatever. Another thing about the game instance, or the GO2 game instance, is that when you collect a certain item, like a flashlight or the axe, even though the axe literally breaks like past this area right here, because there's a trigger box that destroys the axe. Kind of weird that the axe just defaults to right here when it's broken, but yeah. We have other plans for the axe too, like a different design. We have at least me, I have a whole bunch of, designs for it. I just don't have the time to code it right now. Well, not code it, but model it. Because I don't want to go straight to making everything, like, you want things perfect in a game build, but you also don't want to do too much, because, again, it's an alpha. So it doesn't have to look like the most beautiful game you've ever seen. But yeah, if you've played GO2 23, you would definitely recognize this. If you played the beta test from October back in 2023. This is the testing map, which has been rebranded to Hexagonal Origins. Is it? Yeah, it's automatically on. But yeah, Hexagonal Origins is sort of a remake and a lot more polished version than the other one. Because the other one was sort of just made out of cubes. I didn't really know what I was doing when I was developing the level. There's a little bit of artifacting with the hexagon texture. I don't know why it's like that. It doesn't seem to be that way in OBS. It looks perfectly fine on OBS, but on my end it looks kind of weird. But yeah, you can see that this has been updated, and most of the level is absolutely massive. I sort of went off of memory on, you know, how big it was and everything. Like I knew what the level, how the level looked like just by memory, because I spent so much time making it and then canceling it after a couple of issues. And here's the staircase. There was a video on the YouTube channel that I barely even post on anymore, because I'm not really that type of person that posts things. The only thing I'll post is like updates about the game or whatever. The stairs are just regular stairs now. They're better than the ones that were originally in GO2 23. But the reason why there's so many colors is because it's also a reference to the early version of GO2 23, where there was just like almost every single light that I can think of that I put across like every step, which was kind of annoying to do. And this has also been updated because there was, again, just by memory, I remember there was like sort of a weird, the way that the level was constructed, it was really weird seeing that there was just a hexagon textured wall just staying there. Not staying there, but, you know, just being there. It was also basically say that the one hexagon room is connected, and the remake, it's not. They really weren't connected to begin with. Like the hexagon room in this area, they really weren't connected at all. But it's just there, and there's a bunch of rocks around it that is blocking your way to go over there. And again, it is massive compared to the older version. I think that's a different texture. That probably needs fixed. Is it a different texture? I don't see there to be a difference. Yeah, it might be a different texture, or it's a shadow. There's just a purple light here because there used to be the early version of the core just sitting in the corner doing nothing. There was also a barrier around it, so that's why like early versions, like when we exported the map, it was just a huge cube over it. There was no sphere or anything. Yeah, you can see that there is just those boxes that were there in the first early version of this room. The reason why there's a blue light is because it's supposed to reference when this room was sort of like ocean blue, and I really like that idea where this one room kind of had an ocean vibe to it. And you can see the railing and everything. You can still see other parts of the map, but it's going to be changed at some point. Things will be updated in this map in later alphas, but there will not be like, it'll only be like, you know, small patches and everything, because the map is already complete. Because the part where this map ends is basically where the canceled Galactic Originals 1 Chapter 1 area was made, and the sort of when the Galactic Originals series, or the two projects, it was mainly just one, but it's basically two, when they both took a turn and sort of just like crumbled. I don't know why I wanted to change everything to Galactic Originals 1, but I'm kind of glad that we've, already have Galactic Originals 1 out, which has been out for almost 2 months, I think. There's supposed to be a patch at some point, but yeah, this room, I believe this room is actually a lot smaller than it originally was. Most of the rooms in the remake, well, in this remake, are a lot bigger than they were. And you can see the little counter over here, and it's also playing the music from the original, the early version of the club room, which is what we call it, because it has like so many lights and everything. It was also just a test, mainly just to test on like how good we can do environments, and also to test spotlights in general too. You can see that the vent is actually a lot higher than it was, and this time you actually don't have to crawl through it. You could just, because there's no crouching mechanic, you just jump right through it. And yeah, with this one you can actually jump back into it, and still the same spotlight. And the reason why it looks so realistic, oop, I need to fix that with the flashlight and the axe. The reason why it looks so realistic is because it's just shoved up against the wall, and I just remember the way that we used to do it. You can see how bright that is. And all these lights here, there is not the secret, what do you call it, the secret audio clip that there was in the original one. It's just, the regular area. And you can see that this, I think this was actually a lot shorter than it was. Because you can actually still fall off of here and die, or at least destroy the entire character and not be able to play the game. But instead of it being, up in flames and everything, it's supposed to replicate like the, because this duplicated area, because all it is just a duplicated spot of the club area from the original, from the one test, or dev test, beta test, whatever you want to call it. It really wasn't a beta test, it was a dev test. It was called the Paradox update, which again didn't make any sense because it wasn't officially out. But either way, everything was like, it was kind of weird to look in. It was up in flames and whatnot, but instead of it being up in flames, it's just, the entire wall is falling apart, which kind of looks cool, to be honest. And obviously you can't go over that. And this is where the wall falls down, and again, you go up here, and this is the end of the map. The reason why this is the end of the map is because right after this area is when we started working on Galactic Originals Chapter 1. Certain sections were added that were very story-driven to GO Chapter 1, or GO1 Chapter 1, the cancelled Galactic Originals 1 project. But yeah, all that stuff was really story-driven and everything. But in this remake, it's not in the game, it's completely removed. Because it just makes more sense for, it to end right here. And I think you can still hear the club music. Yeah, you can still hear it. This is basically the end of the map. It's actually quite big. And since there is no more map or anything, no more levels to explore, then it just sends you back to the game, the main menu screen. Other than that, that's basically it. That's pretty much all that Alpha 5 has to offer. And I know that's kind of annoying considering that Alpha 4 came out, I think, like the very beginning of January. I can actually look that up real quick. I should know when my own, game had its fucking alpha made, but, it's whatever. Alpha 4 came out January 2nd of this year. So basically a month since Alpha 4 has been out. And now that we have Alpha 5 was actually going to take a lot longer to just a lot longer to develop and everything. Also a note that Alpha 5A, or, you know, what it says down there, 1.1.5 is not really accurate. I don't know what I was thinking. I was kind of tired. But Alpha 5B will probably be coming out next Friday, technically this Friday. I think it's February 20th when Alpha 5B comes out. The reason why that there's going to be an Alpha 5B is because there is a graphical glitch that was released with Alpha 5. So, like, if you tried to, like, even in the main menu, you would have graphical glitches and everything. If I go to load up a game of, well, go to load up a session of it. Give me a second. And let that download for a second. But anyway, if I were to load up a session of it, it would show that the main menu just looks really weird. It just looks like screen tearing, which I'm pretty sure that's what it is screen tearing. Previous alpha versions like 1, 2, 3, and 4 never had, screen tearing issues. As far as I know, it never had screen tear issues. But Alpha 5 definitely has them. Because Alpha 5, technically Alpha 4 introduced, the 3D world environment for the main menu, but the Alpha 5 sort of made it completely different. Because the way that Alpha 5 works with its main menu is that you're technically a player character, and then whenever you hit the settings button, it takes you to another side of the map. Just basically teleporting you back and forth. Instead of doing like a little camera animation, we just did it with the character because it was also just better and everything. And that's sort of how the settings menu is sort of made. We just did it that way. And also, not to mention the screen tearing issue was also on there as well. So, wait, what am I doing? Hold on. No, I could just do this. I completely forgot. Yeah. 1 second. I don't know why I'm wasting time. There's literally a folder that has Alpha 5 already, zipped and everything. I don't know why it took so long. But that's basically the basics on everything of the main menu and whatnot. It's taking a minute. Jeez. There it goes. I don't know why it's exported in a weird way. Windows. I think we got it. I think this is the one. Maybe it has. Okay, no, this is my build. Okay. Why did I just do that? I don't know why I just did that. Windows, go back. Windows. I think this is, yeah, this might be the newer version. Yeah. Oh, here it is. Yeah, this is the graphical bug that I was talking about, the screen tearing issue. You can even see it down there, you can see it down there. It's not intentional or anything. You can even see it over here that it's even worse. And I think if you... I'm not going to enable VSync just yet, because I also want to show in story mode it's even worse. And I want to say before we actually start, you know, looking into this bug on this video, I would recommend not watching all the way through if there is some flashing lights, because there was an instance where there were some flashing lights on here. I just want to have you know, make you be aware that there is some flashing lights in here if you don't have VSync on, and you can see the weird artifacting, and I'm glad that OBS picks that up. Like, it sort of makes it look like your monitor is broken, and I think that's just regular screen tearing. I don't know, because we've never had that issue when developing Galactic originals ever, so that's sort of a new thing. And here you can also see it's pretty bad. And I think in here, yeah, pretty much everywhere. And here you don't see it as much, but it does get pretty bad if you're like doing it a certain way. At least when I was on here, it was a lot worse than that. So if I enable VSync, put it up to high, put it up to epic actually, then that fixes the issue. I know that that doesn't, you know, that you don't like, you shouldn't have to, god damn it, you shouldn't have to release Alpha 5B, but the reason why we're also going to be releasing Alpha 5B is to sort of have a performance-friendly build of Alpha 5. Mind you, not every single Alpha is gonna have a performance-friendly build. We'll try and make it as optimized as we can, but it's also kind of exhausting having to make another build just for performance. And I know performance should come first, but we're also just trying to do a whole bunch of other stuff. But yeah, that fixes the issue right there. If you turn it off, you really don't see that much. When you don't have a graphics setting enabled, kind of makes it look weird. I think that's also another issue. That's just purely the settings menu. I don't think that changes anything, does it? No. But yeah, screen tearing is a major issue with this, because it can get buggy and everything. So just to be aware, I would definitely enable VSync. Really helpful if you don't want to have a seizure while playing Alpha 5, but that's just me. But anyways, I think that is the end of the little showcase we have here. There's a lot of plans for Alpha 6, which is probably not going to come out for a while. But yeah, for Alpha 6 and whatever, we have some like cheat system, or, you know, command system. We have some ideas for that. So that's probably going to be a major part of Alpha 6 and whatever. So that's probably why Alpha 6 is going to take so long, is because we kind of want to make our own cheat system and everything. Just to sort of have something extra for the game. And yeah, that's basically it. Who knows? Alpha 6 could be a major alpha build. We don't even know it. I mean, I know it for some things I want to add to it, but, you know, it all really depends on what the outcome is. When it there's so much stuff being released and whatnot. But that's basically it for me. And